What's up, guys? Welcome to Real Life Bodybuilding. I am Jeremy Fox, and this is Tyler Wilson, and we're going to be talking about pretty much everything from the lines of Q&As, exercise, how to execute the movements, how to cook food and it not taste like ass.
Yeah.
We're totally going to cuss on this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No, I'm not holding back though.
Yeah, not holding back. We don't care about monetization.
It get boring.
And today we're actually going to be kind of going over what the point and the goal of the podcast is and the channel in general. And yeah, so I'm going to let Tyler talk about himself for a minute, and then I'll take my turn.
All right. What's up? My name's Tyler Wilson. I just turned 20 in June. I've been lifting since I turned 16. I got my gym membership when I turned 16. So technically been training for about 4 years. I'd say I've been living like a strict bodybuilding lifestyle for about a year and a half now. Started training about 130 pounds. Now I'm about 212-ish.
135 now, right?
Yeah. So definitely it was like the skinny kid growing up. Not anymore, so that's a good thing. Jeremy does all my nutrition. I currently do my own training. My training is more of a like low volume, high intensity style. I usually go about two working sets per exercise, more like not necessarily Dorian style, but somewhat. I find it more fun. Progressing each week allows me to really focus on the training instead of just going in and winging it. And I've introduced a lot of other people to it that like it a lot. I'm currently eating a lot of food thanks to him.
Not that much.
My high days are 970 carbs, so that's a lot, but it's fine. I've taken all of 2020 off competing wise. My last show was August of 2019. I was on stage probably around 175 pounds. I won the teen class because there's no teens that like to do bodybuilding. They like doing men's physique and all that. I came in second and third in something else. I was a middleweight.
You looked a lot better at that show than the one you did before.
Yeah, the one I did before, I did all my own thing. I just basically.
You were like 20 pounds heavier?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think I could put on about 20 pounds of stage weight, and I was leaner.
And that was 1 year apart, right?
Yeah, and doing my own thing. Just basically, I had the what would I call it? The privilege of being able to eat whatever I wanted when I was
skinny ectomorph.
Yeah, and they just put muscle on somehow.
I have that problem too, being an ectomorph.
Yeah.
No
you don't. But now we're hoping to start prep around December. I'm gonna see how everything goes. If I'm big enough in December, then we'll start prep. If not, we'll shoot for a later show in the year of 2021, but hopefully we're big enough.
And hopefully shows happen.
Yeah, that as well. We can talk about that too.
Yeah, definitely gonna touch
Michigan's
on that.
doing some outdoor shows, which I think is pretty cool, other than you're gonna be sweating so bad.
And the lighting's horrible, obviously.
Yeah, I saw one show that it was just in like a hotel conference room and they didn't even have stage lights. It was just like
One guy did it in the parking lot too, right?
Yeah,
like the parking lot tent.
Yeah,
I saw that one.
Yeah, so it's getting weird.
What's his name? PH Deadlift.
Yeah, he looked good.
He looked good, but
he's insane.
Yeah, he's strong AF.
Yeah,
but he did one of the outdoor shows and obviously won that, right? When is that outdoors? It was like a tent over. I think I've seen pictures.
I don't know. I haven't seen much about him.
But it looked like he kind of got ready in like 3 weeks. It didn't look like he got ready in 3 weeks.
Justin Harris coached.
Yeah. But he like didn't have a long prep at all. He was like, he stays lean all the time.
Yeah, Justin said he stayed really lean all off season. We don't stay lean in the off season.
No,
not yet at least. Hopefully one day I can stay lean in the off season and grow. But I think I'm just too young to like have that not soft look. Because I mean, I look soft until like 8 weeks out, to be honest. I think maybe not this upcoming one because I'll.
Well, the more muscle you have, the harder you're gonna stay anyway.
Yeah. So, it's kind of about me. I'm currently in college. Hate it. I do want to make bodybuilding like my career, as you would say. So working towards that. Just gotta prep and get lean so that you can get popular, because people don't like chubby off-season pics. All right, here.
Well, to touch on that, you can just take a bunch of contest prep pictures,
Yeah.
like I do,
Yeah.
and then just everyone thinks you're in contest shape all year. I think everyone does that on Instagram.
Yeah, a lot of people do that on
Yeah.
Instagram.
So I'm 29. I'm a lot older than Tyler, like a lot older. I've done 4 shows. My first season was 2016, where I did a couple local shows. Looked not that good.
I don't think anyone looks good at their first show unless you're like
Nah.
Keon Pearson or
My
something.
goal was to like do as much cardio and eat as little as possible.
That's what I did in about 4 weeks, and then I just
Yeah.
basically ate a bunch of junk peak week.
I did the typical like, coach, are we going to be able to like, can I carb up on this? It's like now I think I'm like, I didn't eat any of that food all prep.
Right,
Why should I like buy this
exactly,
fancy stuff like a week out?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you watch too much other people and what they do, and you're just like, oh, that must work because they look crazy, even though they have way better genetics than me.
Same thing with training. We'll cover that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't train like your favorite pro if
doesn't
you don't
work.
have the genetics of your favorite pro, and odds are you don't have even close to
Probably
the
95%
genetics of
chance you
your
don't.
favorite pro. That's why I train the way I train, and it's packed on crazy amounts of size since this off season. So I mean, it's working for me. I just dropped down to 4 days a week of training. So I was at 5, and my body was just taxed so much by that 3rd day in a row because I was doing 3 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off.
So you just got to listen to your body sometimes.
Yeah.
You can't go off of what it says you should be doing. You have to read your body and know, like.
And you can't like listen to the people on Instagram that are like, "Oh, go hard or go home."
Yeah, if you're not dying and sore, you're not training hard enough.
Yeah.
It's like not necessarily the goal is to go in and break the muscle down and recover. If you're not recovering, then you're kind of just,
you don't grow in the gym.
you're not really getting anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, like after my first season, 3 years later, it took me 3 years to actually compete again, where I was around the same weight, honestly, but I looked 30 pounds bigger because I was a lot leaner. I actually hired a coach for that one and stuck with him the whole time. Still currently working with him now, Nathan Epler. And yeah, so 2019 was my last shows, and I was planning on competing. We'll touch on this. I think we had a question about
What are we gonna touch on?
the Tricky Jackson.
Oh yeah.
I was planning on doing that. It was in like 3 months or so, and I decided not to go that route, but we'll discuss that later. But
Wait, you decided not to do that?
yeah,
You told me like yesterday.
I know. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I got a good reason.
Okay. All right.
All right. So do you want
Let's try to touch on I do kind of want to go over it first. Just for people, the whole training, and just you can't just mimic your favorite person on Instagram and expect to, girls as well. I tell my girlfriend this all the time. The whole glute kickback bullshit. Like, yeah, throw that in at the end, but
That's
like,
cool. But if you're getting ass injections, it probably doesn't
Yeah.
matter what they're
So,
doing. So
you can't just like look at like, oh, he or she looks good. Let me do exactly what he's doing or she's doing. I
that's not
mean,
gonna work.
Phil Heath can train a certain way, and
Phil Heath's gonna look good regardless of what he does.
right. So
We're not.
It's just
So
you have to focus on like what works for you. Figure out what works for you. It may not happen in a matter of a year, but eventually you'll figure it out. Like I used to train just 5 to 7 days a week, and thinking that you're just like going hard, just eating anything in sight, not really focusing on recovery, not focused on digestion at all.
definitely a big thing to
Yeah.
talk about. You can
so
shovel the
just-
food and all you
yeah.
want, but it's not gonna do you any good if
Yeah.
it's just sitting in your stomach.
So that's one thing that I just want to make a point is, don't follow everything your favorite pro does, just because, unless it's like I feel like if someone followed everything like James did, you'd be fine. Hollingshead.
Yeah, I mean common sense things like sticking to a diet, eating
Yeah.
X amount of meals a day, and like training a certain regimen. That's fine, and it's cool to have like someone to look up to.
Goals, especially. I mean, I have tons
Yeah.
of people that I'd love to look like, but you also have to be mindful of what you look like and what they look like.
Right.
Like my body, no matter how big I ever get, it will never look like Ronnie or Phil Heath ever.
No.
it will honestly, I don't know.
Muscle insertions, the
Yeah.
roundness of the muscle belly, the structure, the waist size, the leg size.
I don't know who I'd really
dimensions. I mean,
compare myself to in terms of, I don't know if I'm big enough yet to really know yet. But when I'm lean, I'm way more like bubbly and round than,
you really don't ever get flat.
no. And that's one thing that,
And your arms really deflate, don't they? Like they're always so small.
yeah. But I mean, I do definitely have like a bubblier physique for a white guy, I'd say.
Can we say that?
Yeah, we can say that.
You can have. That's not racist, right?
Nah, it's not racist.
Okay, cool.
I mean, especially when I'm lean. Right now, I'm just like a bag of mashed potatoes, I guess. But
I don't really like mashed potatoes.
I love mashed potatoes. You don't like mashed potatoes?
Are we gonna talk about these questions?
Yeah, we can. We can get to them.
All right.
You want to go first? You.
Since I actually got less questions than you,
Yeah. Well, my friends contributed. So.
do we call it donations? Question donations? You go first since you have more.
First question is, what are some bullshit supplements? I think that's a good one because there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
It's less, in my opinion, it's less bullshit supplements. It's bullshit supplement companies and brands.
And what they advertise they do versus what they actually are supposed to do.
Yeah, just like, I mean, a lot of people know John Meadows just came out with a video of a manufacturer, not even really the company or brand that we're talking, like, but the manufacturer they use to bottle and do all their supplements just got busted again for like just underdosing things, not putting in there what it's supposed to be. So you just have to really look out for stuff like that.
And that's not even the supplement company. That's
No.
the actual manufacturer that does the products for them.
Yeah, but you do have to. This certain manufacturer does have a really, really bad reputation. So any company that is going to use them does have. They know that it might be sketchier. What do you think are some like you hear someone that's taken this certain supplement and you're just like, ah.
Well,
I remember Luke Sandoz said glutamine. He was like, glutamine's bullshit.
I mean, glutamine's the most abundant amino acid in your body anyway.
Yeah.
So to supplement is fine, but it's good for digestion in large 15, 20 gram amounts. But, I mean, are you going to build more muscle with it versus just eating a protein source that already has it in there and your body automatically produces it anyway and makes it itself? So
I'm trying to think of some actual like bullshit supplements.
things that, like, I don't know, like, it depends because if
Some fat burners are such bullshit.
I think it's more or less like the label,
Yeah.
like what it is versus what's
that's
in the
why
label.
that's why I said brand.
Like a pre-workout, not to like trash, like C4 or something, but
It's
pre-workout,
trash.
I mean,
Little
it's like
trash.
caffeine. I
Trash.
mean, but it's like, oh, awesome pumps, this and that. And it's like there's no pump product in it.
One thing I work at a supplement company or a supplement or store. I like to point out to people a lot is the size of the scoop because it says it on the label. A scoop of C4 contains like 6.5 grams of ingredients. A good dose of citrulline is that much right there.
Yeah.
So that just shows you
6 to 8 grams right there.
Yeah.
So.
You go to a company like Jeff Long's company, like a Pro Supplements, Fuad Abiad's company,
They're all
Hostile
6
Supplements.
or 8, aren't they?
Um,
I think Outsized has 8 grams.
I'm just talking about the scoop size. I know
They're both like 20
Focus,
plus.
Pump Focus is 22.
Yeah.
One of Fuad's is over a 30-gram scoop for Bloodshot.
And just add up the ingredients too. Like if you had 8 grams of this, 3 grams of that, all this, and it comes out in your shot 2 or 3 grams compared
There's
to what
your
the total
sweetener and all that other.
I mean, if it's half ingredients and the scoop is double the size of what the ingredients are, then it's just full of fillers. I mean,
Yeah. And that's why a lot of times I'll get people to use something different, and they're just like, wow, it was different. Different in a good way. A lot of times people like C4 because the beta alanine really kicks them because, I mean, if it has 3 grams of beta alanine, that's half the ingredients. So you're basically taking a shot of beta alanine. No, you're definitely going to get tingly if there's nothing else in the product. Just have to find things that are really good in quality. It takes a lot. That's why I'm glad more stores like where I work are popping up because, I mean, there's a reason why GNC is closing down here and there.
you have to have the knowledge to sell products.
Yeah, and not even only the knowledge, just carrying the right things.
And caring more than just to sell somebody something
yeah.
and say, here's this, give me your money.
Exactly.
It's like, this is genuinely going to help you get hot for the gym or help you with pumps or whatever product's supposed to do. if it does that, then I know you and Next Level,
Yep.
they do that. So, and it's not just like Walmart. You go and walk in and buy C4 off the shelf for $14.99 or whatever it is, and it's like, you're probably not getting a very good product. And
Yeah.
as far as other supplements go, I mean,
I'm really trying to think of something that I just totally don't like believe in.
I know we will after we stop making the video.
I know, that's exactly.
But like, obviously, you need to prioritize. So if you make $1 million a year, yeah, you can buy whatever and try. But if you're like, I can only spend X amount of dollars per month on products, then you need to, you probably want a whey isolate, a good quality whey isolate. You'll probably want some sort of pre-workout, some sort of intra workout supplement as far as like essential amino acids. You want creatine. Creatine is one of the more proven supplements for water retention in the muscle, ATP production, things like that.
I'm really trying to think of
Outside of that, really, they kind of all are overhopped. Other than like the essentials.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't think of like a true like supplement like as a whole that I don't like.
Like a category of a supplement, it's like they're all okay for what if they're dosed right.
If we want to go into like just calling brands out,
or first episode's on. Come on,
we've been
here's the shit companies.
We've been trashing C4. What are some companies that are just BS?
Here's one like liquid L-carnitine.
Yeah.
Versus injectable L-carnitine. Your body kind of doesn't absorb the liquid as well, at all.
Yeah, I think carnitine is bullshit.
Yeah, but you take it because it's a fat burner, but not really because it's another thing your body naturally has. Unless you're deficient in it, it's not really going to help you.
It's something that's a lot. That's another thing. We have another question that's more. You have it. That one. Yeah, that one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's more of like I feel like
we need to tell who's
carnitine.
Like.
I know.
Who asked that question?
I can't tell because my screenshot is like.
Oh, do I have it?
I know, it's probably the same one.
Oh.
But that kind of goes into the same thing that Dylan asked.
Yeah, Dylan, he asked,
shortcut.
Is the promise of shortcut while people would rather push SARMs or gear over dieting or the hard work, more or less, in summary? You gonna touch that?
Yeah, I want to compare that to the bullshit supplements thing in terms of just like, like the carnitine, I feel like it's more of like a placebo thing.
Mm-hmm.
You take it and you're like, oh, I'm getting shredded because I'm drinking this berry carnitine.
Yeah. You're probably you're drinking more calories.
Yeah, exactly. It's sugar in it probably. But yeah, what was that one?
More or less like he's wanting to know what people's perception is of using supplements or super supplements versus what they expect. You like that? You know what to call that?
No, I haven't, but I was
supercharged.
I was expecting you to say it.
So he's pretty much asking how come people rely on drugs or super supplements versus just doing the work. And
people are they're lazy and they want things tomorrow.
Yeah, pretty much. That pretty much narrows it down. It takes a long time to build a physique. We're like amateur AF. And we've been doing it for a few years now. So imagine, with or without the gear and the SARMs and all this and that, your genetics dictate that and your work ethic and
consistency.
Everyone can get shredded. Some people have a harder time getting shredded, but when it comes down to
everyone can get big. It's just how big you can get.
You're limited by genetics. With or without the stuff added in.
The super supplements.
Jeremy
likes to call them.
That could be a shirt.
Yeah. Now hold on, I want to touch on that more. I think this is a problem a lot.
Sun kiss, right?
I think this is only like a male problem. I don't think girls really.
That just made me think of something that I got asked, not through Instagram, but the whole. Can I even veer off on this?
Yeah.
Because this pisses me off every time I hear it. Girls are afraid to lift weights.
Oh yeah.
You already know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Because they get bulky,
too big,
too muscular. I'd love to get in shape, but I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to look like such and such. Meanwhile, that such and such is on the Olympia stage. She's jacked out of her mind and has been taking gear for 15 years. And I'm pretty sure it's not because she did a bicep curl.
Yeah.
Just guessing. So.
Yeah, that is a good point. But I think this whole shortcut thing is, I think people just look at, I don't even want to use us as an example.
With the word shortcut, they're in a
sounds
hurry.
like, yeah, it sounds arrogant to a way, but people look at, like my friends, not even my friends, but people like, because I just graduated high school in 2019, like, what do you do? What do you do?
What are you taking?
What do you? And I'm just like, well, like, you're where I started, like, when I was 16. You need to.
They could be 23 and be in.
Like, I used to go to the gym like twice a day just for the hell of it. Like, my buddies and I would be like, oh, did you train already today? Yeah, but I could go again. And we just go again. And like, it's so dumb. And then we just eat like a bunch of shitty food afterwards. I mean, it worked for us. Like my buddy, probably the two that I've trained with the most when I was youngest were my buddy Campbell and Blake. And we both were, I think Campbell hit 230 something at one point, like big. The biggest I was in high school, I think I hit like 197. And my friend Blake, he was over 200 pounds as well. I mean, it's just, and none of us were like really using anything. It's just, you eat.
We weren't at all using anything.
Well, I used SARMs in high school.
Did you?
Yeah.
I still think that's almost placebo to a point, I think.
I totally agree. Some people, I don't think I'm good at like noticing changes in my body. Like some people will be like, oh, I've been on SARMs for 3 days and
I'm jacked
my
now.
my back is aching or it's having spasms, and
My lower back's so pumped I can't bend over.
Yeah, or something. It's just something like something insane, and it's just they just want it tomorrow instead of like in 2 to 3 years. And I mean, use SARMs in gear, but whenever you get off of them, see you later. All the gains you made,
You're in deflate.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like once you use that, it's kind of like shot your load in a way. It's like you used your like final like what do you say? It's like you used your like chance to get bigger once you hit like a plateau. It's like you're naturally maxed out.
When you're 16 to 20 years old,
don't touch anything.
You're on a cycle just in your own body.
Your natural test is through the roof.
Yeah. Like my brother, he's been training with me for probably half a year, and he's dropped.
And he's made really good progress in just that time frame.
Gotten way stronger.
What else you got? What other questions?
Let's see. So we did bullshit supplements. How has my training changed over the years, and why? Because I've learned
to you.
a lot. You too. How'd you start off training? I feel like everyone starts off training the same way.
Oh, 3 sets of 10.
Yeah.
And you do 5 days a week.
Oh, when I started training, it was like I thought my legs were small, so I just like squatted every single day I went to the gym.
I thought mine were small, but they actually are.
It correlated to no leg progress. I would do squats, and I'd do like straight bar curls.
It's because you were taking those bullshit supplements. That's why it didn't work.
No, it wasn't on any supplements. I remember one time I got, you weren't even doing this shit when you were that young. I had to like hide supplements.
I was fat until I was like 3 or 4 when I started.
I had to
didn't
hide
start until
supplements from my like parents, like stuffing your creatine in your underwear drawer and all that, just because they
yeah, creatine. All right, that's what you're putting in there.
Yeah, when I was 16, it was. But how's my training changed over the years? It's just gotten way more advanced, but also still very, very, very basic.
No need to overcomplicate.
You can progress. I mean, until you're at a certain level, you don't really need to tweak your training that much, I don't think. If you're getting stronger and you're progressing, there's really no way you're gonna go backwards.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. So I started training. My first year was probably just the whole squat every day crap. Then it was more of just like Cutler, high volume, crazy, just like banging out 10 exercises on each body part a week. And now probably the start to midway through my last prep last year, I started doing the more low volume thing, and I just love it. It's allowed me to get very, very strong and put on size, and I eat a ton of food. So how's your training changed?
A lot. like dramatically. So I started like basic, like 3 sets of 10, like everyone else reads on like bodybuilding.com. And then from that point, I was actually switched to super high volume, like 100 rep sets, which was, and
thinking of that now makes me want to like throw up.
I like cringe thinking of it. But I would do like 3 or 4, I would do like 1,000 reps per exercise, like per workout. So it'd be like 1,000 rep chest day. And yeah, I mean, you'd be pumped, but when you're eating like no carbs and doing that, and
you're always depleted.
You're always flat and depleted and stringy looking, which is where I kind of looked my first 2 shows, the first season. And then I transitioned from that, and I just gradually started increasing the weight and staying in that like 10 to 15 rep range, probably on average, depending on the exercise. More higher volume on legs.
Yep. Yeah.
And then your heavy compounds, maybe as low as 6 or 8 reps. Yep. And usually I have a couple of acclimation sets, and I'll have 1 or 2 heavy working sets, like all out, like no RIR.
Reps and reserves.
So yeah, so it's changed a lot from 100 rep sets to like 10 rep sets.
Because even when, because my buddies and I started going to the gym like kind of together as like a high school thing. We did, after we kind of figured it out a little bit, we did the whole, I'd say power building, just like you bench squat or deadlift first, and then you do all your other stuff. So like a typical back day would have been like deadlifts off the ground. Usually started with pull-ups, so it'd be pull-ups, deadlift off the ground, then it would be a barbell row, and then it would be more like a pull-down or something like that.
There's my dog.
Yeah, no.
He's making appearance.
Then it slowly went into more like pump volume BS that doesn't work.
You mean something doesn't work?
Huh?
You mean something doesn't work? That's a shock. I thought everything worked.
Yeah, if you're in the gym every day, you're getting different. Not. You see the same people in the gym for 4 years and they look the same.
And they look the exact same.
Yeah, it's insane.
Wonder why that is though. Maybe because their diet's the same.
It's a social thing for a lot of people. A lot of people go to the gym to see their friends and talk for 3 hours.
Which I'm not like frowning upon that, because it's better than being out at a bar and drinking. Or,
right.
Or drinking and driving or something like that. But
yeah.
But if you're planning to be like elite.
Right, and that's another thing that's really hard for me, and my girlfriend calls me out on this all the time. It's just like, she's like, hey, not everyone like treats this like you do. And I'm just like, damn it. Like,
I get that too. So why don't you just go work out and have fun? It's like fun.
Like I'm like mad. Fun? I'm like mad anxious before every session.
This is crazy talk.
But yeah, so I think that one's we covered that one well.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Basically, we all started with not knowing what we.
It's all a transition for everybody.
And now we train relatively heavy, and
we think we're doing the right thing now, right?
Yeah, I do. And form has obviously just greatly improved.
It's not an ego thing anymore.
I mean, here and there, but I'm just kidding. Who was our motivation in the bodybuilding industry when we were younger?
Can I start this one?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I don't know. Well, I started later than him, so when I first started, I guess it was about the time Phil Heath just had won like his first Olympia. Actually, it was 2012. 2012 is actually.
I was 12 years old.
I was not 12 years old. No, it was the second Olympia he won, 2012, and that's when I first started dieting and kind of like learning about bodybuilding. I mean, inspirations were probably Justin Compton.
Yeah, for sure.
He actually trained at the gym that I started training at. So at the time,
he's someone I can look at like physique wise and can be like, yeah.
It's also another person you see how they train and you're like, it doesn't matter how I'm going to train, I'll never look like that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because he's literally a bubble, like everywhere. Yeah. Even now he looks great and he's not even trying. So
I'd love to look like that. Yeah.
I'd be happy with how he looks now. And like his 230 pound guy, like it's his 230 looks different than my 230.
The Arnold look. We're going to his Arnold look.
Yeah, he looked.
By the time I'm 30.
But yeah, that was probably my biggest inspiration from the start. He trained at Ford's Gym in Lexington, and that's where I started. I would be there every Sunday, and I'd actually
train there.
Yeah, that's where I started.
Train there.
My first like coach and
Place
the first
is
guy to
sick.
help me. They had their own leg room.
Yeah.
And I would come in and like sometimes he would be leaving with his training partner. And I'd be like, "That's Justin Compton."
Yeah.
Oh my God, the real Justin Compton. He's like 300 pounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my biggest inspiration starting out. Probably number one.
I mean, I'd say I have a lot. Dallas and Luke were both really high for me.
Sure.
Rest in peace to both. But other than them two, I just liked how both of them trained and how they looked. Obviously Compton as well, but he kind of was out of the scene by the time I was really in it. Or not saying I'm in the scene, but like doing this.
When you got the most serious, yeah.
I mean, there's other people that I look up to and stuff like that. Like obviously Jay's sick. Like I'd love to look like that. Just like so wide and. I'm trying to think of someone else that I've really looked up to.
I mean, those are all top guys, or at least were top guys, and if there's
Because I mean, when I started, it probably was more like it's probably more Jay, Dallas, Luke a little bit later. I don't really know who else. I feel like we just go blank sometimes.
Yeah, I mean that kind of touched it for me. Like that's, I always
obviously like Ronnie and them.
Yeah, I never was like not saying like I think I'm the only person to ever say this, but I wasn't a huge Ronnie fan because I didn't really like, I guess like connect.
You can't
that. Like I don't know.
I mean, I named three white bodybuilders. Like he named white bodybuilder. Like you ask,
and it's not like we think we can achieve that. It's just that's what we like the look of.
Yeah, it's something to look at, and you're like, oh, maybe I can do that.
I didn't think that at all, but
I think that.
I didn't think that at all. And I saw Justin, I was like, holy shit, I'll never look like that.
See, I don't.
No way.
I don't think that.
But I'm gonna go in the gym and pretend like it's possible.
Yeah. Other than that, really, that's about it. I feel like I'm missing someone for some reason. Regan, I looked up to Regan a lot when I was coming up. He's still he's sick, but like his training kind of turns me off in a way.
Yeah, he doesn't train like the other guys I mentioned.
Yeah. I just like that crazy training. Training's fun to me.
And it's kind of funny because most of those guys train different than each other.
Yeah.
Like Dallas and Luke train similar. Justin was more of like a pump guy.
High volume.
High volume. Who else did you mention? Jay. Jay was a high volume guy.
Yeah.
And another, well, this isn't bodybuilding, but Chris Bumstead is one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah. No, I looked up to him a ton. I forgot about him.
Even when he bodybuilded versus doing classic,
Yeah.
he still like looked.
No, he was like my
crazy.
favorite person ever.
Yeah.
Until like.
He's definitely my favorite classic guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's the top guy right now, but.
Yeah. All right, you want to go do another one? You think that covered it?
Yeah,
I think that covered it.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, Tricky. Let's talk about, since you decided.
Did you get that question?
Yeah, you guys think Tricky Jackson is going to be a big show this season, being the first show in Kentucky because of all the COVID stuff. So, since yesterday you decided that you were going to do the show, this is what Jeremy does. He'll text me, give me his plan, and look, he knows I'm right. He'll be like, all right, I'm going to do this, I'm really serious, I'm going to do all this, and then he'll be like, all right, I'm prepping. I'm like, all right, cool, like, let's kill it, and whatever. I'm not even coaching him or anything, I'm just like there for support.
Moral support.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden the next day I'll be like, well, I decided to go back into off season or something, like.
It's not that I like food, it's not food driven.
It's not food at all.
Because I'm still dieting.
Yeah.
But to touch on that question, do I think, what did it say? Tricky's going to be a great show and all this now?
Big show.
Big show. It would be if we think it's actually going to happen.
Which I don't think it will.
My opinion, and while I'm not, no longer prepping for it, is because I think it's going to be canceled. And
out of the 3 Kentucky shows, that would be the last one I would say would ever go on. And the other
that's the only one left. The other one's
and that's
been
what I'm saying.
canceled.
The other 2 have been canceled already, so I don't see how it would happen.
He says it's going to still go on, and I'm just like not willing to take that chance of. It's not really the dieting part. I don't care. I'm already doing it, but I don't want to like. There's a lot that goes into prep for one, not just the super supplements part that we talked about already, but like your life kind of not really goes on hold.
No, it does. It goes on hold.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. But it like affects everyone around you. So instead of
we can talk about that.
It's a whole episode.
Yeah, that is a whole episode.
But
get both of them on here.
We can get both of our girls on here, and they can do the podcast without us.
They could just torch us the whole
So
time.
I'm gonna tell you about what these guys did. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot to go through, and to prep for a show that you don't know that's actually going to happen. Like, it's hard enough to prep for a show you know is going to happen.
Yeah.
And you want to be like perfect for it and the best you possibly can be and win. But when you like put all your like effort into it and 3 weeks out it gets canceled, it's kind of a bummer. And frankly, it's a waste of time because it's time you could be improving.
Yeah.
So do I think it's going to be a good show if it goes on and everyone hasn't already dropped out of it? Then it probably will be, because it's the only show in Kentucky that's happening if it happens.
Yeah, but I just don't even.
I don't
even see that many people prepping.
Nobody's really prepping because they're afraid of exactly what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, Indiana's doing shows.
One of theirs got canceled.
Seth Markham, he's 7 weeks out from an Indiana show.
I don't know which one that one is. One of my friends is 4 weeks out.
Yeah.
It's Shane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so about that, we probably, I'd say it doesn't go on.
I would say not.
Just because out of the 3 shows that are in Kentucky, I'd say that the other 2 would have gone on if this one's going on.
And this is located on a university, so
yeah,
chances of it being canceled are even higher because it's
never been a big show really, at all.
No.
It's definitely the smallest one in Kentucky, so I don't know how they'd put it on if the other bigger ones weren't able to.
True.
What are some good starter supplements? Creatine.
Creatine and whey protein.
Yeah, you basically covered that earlier.
Yeah. And your like normal
pre-workout
stuff like fish oil and vitamin D3 and the health supplements.
Pre-workout's all good and all. Everyone likes to use it because it gets you all excited and everything. But I mean, you don't really.
If you can't go work out without pre-workout, you're not really that motivated to work out anyway. In my opinion.
If you need to be cracked out for the gym, new hobby.
True.
So yeah, starter supplements, I'd say creatine is the main one, just because it's going to get you some volumization, and you know it works. It's been around for so long. And then a whey isolate just to help get protein in, because that's really hard for beginners, I think.
Not for us, because we're like starving all the time. Well, you're not so much now, but okay, we'll correct that. I'm fine with eating all the protein.
Yeah, I'm fine with eating protein too. I mean, I make my food taste good. What I've recently been doing actually is I cook all my meals in the morning.
They don't sit in the fridge overnight.
Yeah. So
I'm not on that lifestyle yet.
I'll wake up and like prepare all my meals in the morning, and like, I mean, I'm pounding a lot of food, and it's going down easy. If you take the time to really like,
it's definitely a good.
Yeah. It'll definitely reward you. I mean, I'm looking forward to a chicken and rice meal. That's saying something.
Yeah. You make it taste good. It's a lot easier.
Especially when it's a big chicken and rice meal, and I have to eat it like 4 or 5 times a day.
You're following a cookie cutter plan, sounds like.
Yeah. Thanks.
I googled that plan. I think the one that you're on.
Yeah.
I'll do this one here.
All right.
For someone who is trying to get into competing, what training split would you recommend? Well, if you're getting into competing, I'm assuming you've at least trained for a little while.
Hope so.
If you're just starting working out to compete, that's another story. But you probably would just continue doing what you're doing. I mean, if you're already training 4 to 6 days a week, I mean, if it's working now and you're able to grow on that and maintain your muscle mass, then the only thing that changes during competing is the diet. So you just get lean.
What was that again? For someone who's trying to get in with training split.
If they're trying to like get into it, like they're wanting to compete later on down the road, then you would start like a basic split of, I'll probably do like a pro split or a bro split.
Good. Yeah, I'd say something that at least has 1 rest day, probably 2.
I would do 2. Split your days up. Like you were saying, you're doing a 4-day split now because the 3rd day you were fried.
Yeah, but I mean,
why not just 2 on, 1 off?
Why?
Well, I mean, why not? 2 on, 1 off. And then just rotate that. Unless you have like a strict schedule where you can't work out certain days of the week, then.
But that's the thing, though. I think that beginners, or not even beginners, I think that they can take so much more just because of the way that their training is. Like, I could never do one of the workouts that I started with right now with the same intensity I use now.
No, you have to work up to that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you probably want to be in the gym at least 5 days a week.
And don't start out by doing tons of drop sets and
No.
max pause sets and stuff. Start out with a basic split of X amount of reps and sets, and then you can add the intensifiers as you hit sticking points, because that is a way of progression. Progressive overload isn't just weight,
Right.
or isn't just reps. It's intensity. It's
Execution.
it's the eccentric and concentric time. I mean, like time under tension. All those things have to do with progression.
I mean, split just whatever works best for you.
And do something you enjoy.
Just don't do something stupid. Like,
just because Jay Cutler was doing the split doesn't mean you, like we talked about earlier, you don't have to like do what someone else is doing. Find something that you like that makes you enjoy going to the gym and you look forward to doing the workout. If you're going and you know you have to do chest, shoulders, and tries, and you're like, Jesus Christ, I'm gonna be in here for like an hour and a half doing this workout. Why not just do 2 of those?
Yeah.
And then have your separate arm day.
Yeah. Yeah. But honestly, if you're just wanting to get as big as possible as soon as possible, push-pull legs is probably your best bet.
Probably, yeah.
And
then rotate that off day.
You're gonna be hitting everything at least once a week. And then once you get big enough, then you can focus on like actual body parts. Push-pull leg works for me because, I mean, it doesn't work for some people because it doesn't really focus on your shoulders and arms that much. But I mean, my shoulders and arms are my strong suits.
That's another thing.
So push-pull legs really works well for me.
It's good for overall body growth.
Yep, and that's what I'm.
But if you're just starting, then you probably can't handle that unless you do.
If you're just starting, do upper lower.
Two exercises per body part.
Yeah, or
so
do
two chest, two triceps, and 2 shoulder movements. That's 6 exercises, and then do it again on Thursday or Friday.
If you are really just starting, and upper and lower, and just rotate it. Do upper, lower,
1 on,
off.
1 off, even.
Yep.
Yeah.
Upper, lower, off.
That's the 2 on, 1 off.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. I have one more training one. Thoughts. This is Jackson Badgett. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
He says thoughts on full body routines 4 times per week. Do you want to hit that one?
For what? My thing is
way too much
for muscle gain. No. That's just too much. Unless you're doing like a leg extension,
4 times a week though.
That's what I'm saying. Even if it was 4 different workouts, and they were all
came around a seizure.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh. Even if it was 4 different full body workouts, I still feel like you wouldn't be getting enough attention to everything.
That, and if you were going all out 4 times a week, you would never recover.
Yeah, and your whole body would feel like you just got ran over by a train.
Even if it was like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday.
If you're training correctly and hard.
Yeah.
A lot of people think they train hard.
I mean, 2 times a week's pushing it for a full body.
Yeah, I mean, if you're really trying to put on size, I wouldn't do a full body.
And the thought of, think of it this way.
Unless you're like 16.
What builds muscle? Tearing the muscle down, obviously, but getting nutrients in, getting blood flow. So if you're training arms and chest, and then you're training legs, your body, there's nowhere, you don't know where your blood's going to, like, the nutrients are really getting in there. I don't like full body.
No, neither do I. I wouldn't recommend it.
I don't even like full upper body. I don't like upper lower. I mean,
upper
lower
would work really well for someone that's like just now getting into it. I mean, imagine if you're just being like,
as long as they recover,
torch your upper body, because I mean, like, it would be a different upper and a different lower.
I don't even like chest and back together.
Neither do I.
So full upper body would be like,
yeah,
and throw arms and shoulders in there, and it's like,
no, but I wouldn't do a full body workout 4 times a week unless it's something like CrossFit or something. I guess they
if it's something you're trying to get better, like powerlifting, you could do a 4-day split on like your 3 lifts, like period.
But for
periodize that.
For bodybuilding wise, no, you don't.
Not for hypertrophy.
Don't do that.
No.
We did starter supplements. What's the best way to get into lifting? Just do it. If you're thinking about it, just do it.
And if you don't like it, don't do it anymore.
Yeah. Don't sign up for some full year membership. Just go in, pay monthly. If you don't like it,
what's the actual question? What's the best way to get into
lifting? I'd say.
Well, why did you find the interest in the first place to want to get into lifting? So
if it's for like self-improvement or like you want to like improve something, then obviously that's
your reason.
That's your goal. And
you have to have a reason to do it, for one.
Yeah.
Aimlessly and blindly doing it, to just be doing it.
I'd say the best way though is, I guess, talk to someone that's kind of been doing it for a while.
Definitely that.
Let them know, or let them know how you feel about it. Ask them how they feel about it. What all it takes. Tell them your goals and how they would let them know, or let them tell you how they think you would get there. Just stuff like that. Talking to someone with like actual knowledge will help in like any case.
You don't have to do the trial and error thing anymore.
No.
Take someone who's been doing it for 15 years and ask them questions. It kind of bypasses that first like 3 years of wasting time.
Yes, exactly.
Highly recommend that.
Yeah, I'd say that's good for that one. Best way to get into lifting. I mean, just do it. I mean, if you like it, just keep at it. If you don't like it,
find another hobby.
Find another hobby, or learn to like it if you need to like it for a goal that you have. Mm-hmm. How to make a career out of bodybuilding? Tell me your thoughts, guys. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure that out. So I'm just trying to get more popular on social media platforms. My Instagram is fairly active. I post a lot of training, progress pictures here and there. I don't like to show off that too much, just because, I mean, in the off season you look the same almost. People who post once a week progress pictures, it's just like, I mean, you kind of look the same, bud.
That's me. I post once a week.
Yeah, but you post like one picture.
Oh, you mean like the whole reel?
It's like, here's my front double, my rear double, and all this, like every single week.
Pointless.
Unless you're Hunter Labrada, you can't do that, all right?
Nobody's progressing weekly like
that. And not losing weight. So.
Do you think he's using super supplements?
He's probably using super supplements.
That's probably why he's making the progress. Because it's not hard work, right?
Yeah, no, he doesn't. Have you ever watched him train?
Yeah, he definitely.
Oh, he's one. He's one that I look up to a ton.
Yeah.
I'd love to look like that. And he trains really, really hard. Same type training that I try to do.
I just pictured you driving around in your truck, listening to the training footage of Hunter Labrada. Not even watching, just hearing like.
He drives a big truck too, so. But yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna make a career out of that.
Find your niche. I was gonna add to that.
Yeah.
You can't be the same guy expecting to get a muscle tech contract for six figures. Like that's no longer a thing. So, Instagram, social media.
Just being popular.
Offering something that other people don't.
And proving that you're good at it.
And being consistent at proving you're good at it.
Yep. I'd say that's good.
My niche is coaching.
Yeah.
So I know I'm never going to be a Phil Heath, and I really enjoy coaching. So that's my career path to do with bodybuilding. It's not to be a bodybuilder, but that's my niche.
Mine's to be a bodybuilder.
I want to be like Chris Aceto. So.
All right. Yep. All right. Short, long-term bodybuilding goals.
You want me to go on that one?
Yep. You can do coaching goals too. Do your bodybuilding goals and your coaching goals.
I'll do bodybuilding first because it'll be faster. I'm getting ready for my men's physique
debut.
Well, there went that whole entire section of people.
I already said one. I already threw one shot earlier.
What?
About men's physique.
You did? I didn't even hear it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to rewatch this to hear it. I'm going to be editing, laughing at it. Short term, improve in the off season that I'm now in until I decide that I want to do a winter show or something.
Yeah.
If there's one of those.
He's not allowed to prep while I'm prepping, while he's prepping me.
That's going to be a problem then.
I'm kidding.
Long term, I mean, everyone's long term goal is to turn pro and to be a good pro. I wouldn't mind just turning pro and then just to say I turned pro, but it's probably not going to be in bodybuilding. I'm kind of like leaning more toward classic, so I don't want to be 280. So
I do.
Yeah, I've been there. I don't really want to be there again. Pretty much 280. It didn't feel good. So that's that. And then the coaching short term is to, put myself out there and get known and get clients that will actually trust me enough to like prove that I know what I'm doing. And then long term would be to not work a 9 to 5 anymore and be full out coaching, taking on as many people as I can, and not technically overwhelming myself with people, but taking a good quality amount of people and having a reputation of being someone that actually cares about their clients versus just taking their money and pumping out people and having 3 standout clients that gets me all my clientele. Like, some other people that do coaching. I'm not gonna point out, but I want all my clients to feel special. So.
Yeah. My short-term bodybuilding goals, I'd say at least winning my class, my next show, possibly closer to overall. I think that's possible.
There's a lot heavyweight.
Yeah. Or at least stack up well. I think with my age that will be like not impressive, I guess, but it would give me more like push to be like, all right, maybe I am like decent at this. That's probably be short term, bodybuilding wise. Obviously, like really short term is continue this off season and grow more. Stay healthy.
Have a long career, not
have a successful prep and with not a bunch of nonsense.
For sure.
Yeah, long term wise, I'd say I definitely want to be a pro, and I think I can do that. And then I'd say compete as a successful pro. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm going to be top 3 at the Olympia, but I mean, I'd say that I could be a decent pro with how much I like love doing this and want to do it, and with how young I've started.
I think the work ethic's there. It's just basically going to depend on your genetics at this point.
Yeah, and that's what we're slowly seeing more like. My body's changing in like a way that it's almost it's not getting fluffier anymore. It's getting more like rounder. Yeah.
You're not put on any fat.
Yeah, no, it's weird.
You just keep getting bigger but not fatter. So something's working, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I'd say that's my long term.
I'm gonna add to that. What is your after bodybuilding plan?
I want to stay in the industry. I'd love to do something like have my own business, whether that be supplements or something like that. I like supplements a lot. I like researching them and really having quality ones. I think that's just cool to me. Something that like really works. I like using it myself, and I like recommending it to others and hearing good feedback from them as well. So I'd say that.
Well, that goes into what you're doing now with your job.
Oh yeah, I work at a supplement store.
I mean, like what you just said.
Yeah.
That's like what you do as a salesman too.
Yeah.
Because you're not just going to recommend anything.
No. Even when someone picks up a product that I don't necessarily love, I mean, obviously I'm not going to like crush them for it, but I'm going to be like, hey, like, have you ever thought of trying something different? Would you be down for that?
Why don't you give this a try?
Yeah.
This is
even
proven to be
especially
better.
if we have samples or something like that, I give them a sample. I'm like, you don't need to buy that yet, maybe, unless you really want it, obviously. But do try this. So I'd say that's my long term. I mean, I think I can be a decent pro. Slow and steady. I'm not that patient, but it's all right. I don't know. I'd say that's mine long term. I think that's attainable, especially with how like I've gotten started young. I got kind of pretty serious with it young.
You're at a good point now, like what you look like compared to your age.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, that's only going to get better. I mean, Hunter Labrada's 28. I think he just turned. So I mean, I think I can attain a level of physique in 8 years. I mean, I've been doing this.
A lot can happen in 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, I've been like I said earlier, I've been living like a somewhat strict bodybuilding lifestyle for only like a year and a half. So.
And you were skinny when you started, so.
Very.
And you're probably not much higher body fat than when you were 130, right? I mean, you're probably a little chubbier, but not like
it's
fat.
hard. It's hard for me to tell because like, it's just like, the first thing I think of is like my midsection, and it's just like.
That's the first thing to go on you, which is weird because that's the last thing. Like I'm fat everywhere and I have abs.
Yeah. See, I don't.
But you have like a little bit of like upper body separation and like no abs.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's weird how body fat.
So that's what's weird for me because like I used to like love having abs and stuff when I was like this little skinny bitch. But now like I know that I'm not that much like fatter, I'd say.
Well, you've been
but like there's so
much
more like size on my body that it's hard for me to like feel like I'm not fatter. I don't know. It's weird.
You know where you've been, like body fat wise. You know where you are at a point where you're like you have abs and you're like peeled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus where you are now, you know
It's
how
just
far out you
there's
are.
an outline, and then there's my legs don't stay that lean just because I've only gotten them decently lean once, which will get better as time goes.
That's young muscle though.
Yeah. My legs have definitely come up a lot, so hopefully they'll.
Your sleep's came up a lot in the last 3 or 4 months even.
Yeah. So now we just got my hammies to catch up since they're lacking. Do you want to cover the Tampa Pro a little bit?
Tampa?
3 weeks. Who you got?
It's 2.5 weeks out.
Yep. Ian's winning.
It's Ian and Hunter.
No.
I mean, but no disrespect to Hunter because he's insane, but
give him 3 years.
Or 1 year at this pace.
Exactly.
And then the next show in 6 months, so
Yeah.
you'll probably be just up there with him. But Ian's just, for one, what you said, getting into like being super strict with things. This guy's a machine. Like prep, off season, it doesn't matter. He's chicken and rice all year, and
He's not a food person.
and it's paid off. Obviously, I mean, with his new coach Patrick
Tour.
I wouldn't say new. They've been working together for like a year and a half now.
Yeah.
Right. But he's gonna do well. Justin Mackey looks good. I just think his size is a little
It's off.
down. His shape's great.
He does have good shape. It's just proportionally he's off. He's really bubbly, but his legs look odd to me.
I think they have a really good sweep on them. They have a really good flow to the quads.
It's almost like his upper body is way longer than his lower body.
His midsection, torso, yeah.
So I mean, he'll obviously do well, but I think Hunter is going to be really exciting to watch the next few years.
And it's going to be
Very
interesting to see him next to Ian versus
Yep.
just Instagram pictures.
Yeah, because he looks insane.
Because he's been peeled for 6 weeks already.
Yeah,
So it's like, what is he going to look like next to someone that gets 300 pounds in off season?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, agreed. So Tampa's in 2.5 weeks.
If it goes on.
Yeah, I say it will.
I mean, I literally got a message just now that was talking about Miami just banned vacation. One of my friends messaged me just now.
Oh damn, my mom's supposed to be going down there.
So, how far is Miami from Tampa? How far is that?
That's not that far.
Is it a couple hours?
I'd say. But Miami is so like. Give me.
I mean, it was. He's thinking the entire state's about to shut down for. Then this is banning vacation rentals.
Miami to Tampa is
Looks 3 hours probably.
4.
4 hours. So, I mean, what was it, 16, 17 days out? Today's Wednesday. It's on a Friday, I assume, right? Friday, Saturday?
Yeah.
So 16, 17 days out. I mean, it could still happen.
I think it will. I mean,
Who else is in the show? There's Justin Mackey, obviously. There's Ian. There's Hunter.
Is it stacked or not? I don't think.
I don't know anyone. There's a couple other guys. There's a couple more that I've seen that were entering in, but no big names other than
Ian will win it, I'd say. He'll come in good.
I don't want to trash the other guys, but Ian's like definitely a tier higher than all of them.
Oh yeah, he looks insane. It's whether or not Hunter really stacks up next to him.
The size
wise.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely prettier than Ian.
Hunter.
Yes.
Okay.
But he still has that rugged look.
They're both similar.
Ian's just, he's so big.
His back, the back double.
Yeah.
Ian's back is a lot thicker and denser.
Yeah, I saw that on the.
Yeah, I've seen the comparison, and
yeah.
I mean Hunter's is prettier. I mean, it's got more
Right,
of
right.
a like. The detail's a lot better,
Yeah.
but just the pure Dorian-esque of
No, he's
Ian
insane.
is going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
And
So yeah.
it's going to be no problem conditioning on either one of them. Doesn't look like
they're,
so.
they're both peeled already.
They're both peeled 10 weeks out, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, it's insane. Just coast on in. Can you cover anything else?
Olympia? Is it happening?
Is it happening? I'd say it happens.
I mean, the new owner, Jake Wood, is like went all out, bringing back Iris,
I'd say it happens.
I mean, a lot of stuff's happening. So
Yeah.
if not, it's going to be a major shit show.
Yeah.
And a lot of mad people.
I'd say it happens though, given that it's in a while after this election. So
that'll probably have a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Exactly. All of a sudden, COVID's cured. I'm not going on in on that.
So we're doing that now? No comment.
But I'd say it happens. Will it be like as extravagant as they want it? Probably not.
Do you think there'll be an audience, or you think it's going to be an Arnold rerun?
I'd say there's no audience. They may have a small audience.
Well, there was no audience at the Arnold, but that still meant 100 people, didn't it? There was still like a few.
I think like friends and family could be there or something. Like,
so that was still a good amount of people.
Yeah, and it's still just not the same.
No. That's another thing on the shows being canceled locally. It's like, who wants to compete with a mask and nobody watching in the audience?
Yeah, you're not putting a mask.
You might as well just cancel the show if it's to that point.
Like, yeah, same. It's the same thing with the UFC fighters that are facing off with the mask on, and then the next day they're bleeding and spitting all over each other. Like, yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
Well, you can't catch COVID in the ring, right?
No, and if we could catch it right now since we're not 6 feet apart.
You don't have it already?
We probably both do. Everyone probably has. But yeah, I don't know if we need to cover anything else.
I think that's good.
Anything locally happening? Not really.
No, not now.
Kevin's getting ready for Tampa.
Oh yeah, Kevin
looks good.
Is he 212?
212. Definitely best he's ever looked.
I saw the picture today, the comparison. So
definitely best he's ever looked. Biggest he's ever looked.
He looks 30 pounds heavier than his classic.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting.
Who else is doing the 212?
I couldn't tell you.
That's all I want to know, just because we know him.
Yeah. So that should be good.
I heard Philly's making a comeback at the Tampa Pro.
What about Phil and Kai doing the whole BS on?
I would rather watch Days of Our Lives than
that's
that.
What I'm saying.
To this point, I mean, jeez.
It's nonsense.
It's like, do the show or not. Like, just shut up about it.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else to really cover.
No.
Questions are good. Got all the questions done.
We covered those good.
Yep. I think we're good.
Cool.
Well,
let's wrap it up.
That was the first episode. I'd say we do them weekly.
And we'll be less boring next time since this is like, we're rookies.
Yeah.
So.
And I think we did way better than...
The dog wants in, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, be on the lookout for new ones.
Later.